Alright y'all, what's up? We are finally here. Today is the day. Episode 1 has dropped. Bad Boys Los Angeles. Before we get into that, I want to thank y'all so much for the love. I mean, my return back, like I said in my video I just posted yesterday at the X on the Beach. The super trailer, y'all did y'all's thing. Like, I really appreciate it. I think I got like almost 20 subscribers in that 1 week. It's almost at 3,000 views. Like, y'all ran it up. I appreciate the support. I hope y'all rock this out with me. We're going to be doing these reviews every single day. Every single week. Not every single day. Every single week I will be here with y'all if this stays what it is. Because I just watched the first part of, I guess, before the intro where they're introducing everybody. And it looks pretty well put together. So I'm low-key impressed a little bit. So it looks like we might have something good. But before we get into this, I want y'all to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up this video right now. Please do that before you watch. Drop some comments. Please drop some more comments. Y'all did good with that. Drop some more. I want to talk to y'all. I like to jump in and have conversations too. So we're about to talk about this. So let's go. Meeting the dudes that are on the show. And the funny part that stuck out to me before any of this happened, we get this like kind of like warning sign and it says this shit is crazy in the warning. So I'm thinking it's definitely gonna be crazy judging by that trailer. But yeah, so we're gonna get into it. First up we meet Kerrion Franklin. That is Kirk Franklin's son. He seems like he's pretty chill. Like, he seems like a pretty chill person. The way he described himself, he said he tried to go the Christian route, which his dad is obviously a gospel singer. He tried to go that route and try to pretty much stay in tune with him. But he basically said it just didn't work. He just went his own way. And the way he described himself as a bad boy, he said he's calm, like he goes his own way. He does his own thing, kind of marches to the beat of his own drum. But he's a calm person until he erupts. And that was funny to me because that's really kind of how I am. Most of the time, like throughout my entire life, most of my days, I'm super calm. I like to talk shit. I like to sit around and joke all the time and laugh all the time. That's all I do is sit around and joke all day. But when you get me mad, that's when I let it go and I get crazy. But that's kind of how he described himself as a bad boy. I'm looking forward to seeing more about his story as well, so that's cool. Next we meet Anthony Uncensored. He's from Houston. He is the self-proclaimed #1 club promoter, or the club owner in Houston. So he has his own club in Houston. And he said that he was at his father's funeral when he found out that he was going to be on the show. I found that quite interesting. It's just like a lot of these people had interesting moments when they found out they were on the show. And that was his. He seems like he could be kind of bringing drama to the show. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring. Next we have Curtis. He's 27 years old from New York. He is a rapper. He's one of the straight dudes on the show. He don't bite his tongue. That's one thing he said. He is not one to bite his tongue. I'm very much the same way. I like to speak my mind most times than not. And yeah, he's a ladies' man. He got the girls in the videos, self-proclaimed ladies' man. I'm definitely seeing him probably gonna bring a bunch of chicks to the house. He's probably the reason why them strippers was in there, so he's trying to turn up and have fun. Next we meet Dylan. Dylan is the white boy from Tennessee. He's a party promoter. He's claiming that he's about the bag. He claims that he is about that action. Which, looking at him, I don't know if I truly believe that. Don't look like he can fight. And he claims he fucks bitches. That is verbatim what he said. He fucks bitches. And he's gay, at least from what I can tell. So that's interesting. Next we meet Milan. He's 36 years old. We know who Milan is. So I really don't have to touch on him because, I mean, basically he just talked about he was from Love and Hip Hop, being in the first really open gay, I guess, relationship on Love and Hip Hop, and being in that paper magazine. Next we meet Moolah Mo. So far, he seems like he might be my favorite dude on the show. He seems really real. He's from Rochester. He has a radio show, a clothing line. He's a rap artist. He owns a car dealership. So homeboy got his shit going. Like he really has like a full career. He has his hands in different bags, really, and he's really about his money. And also what I found interesting, he said that he's not a rule follower. He makes his own rules. He basically marches to the beat of his own drum. And he stated that he had served 5 years in prison on gun charges. That is quite interesting to me too, considering he got out and he basically made his life what it is now. Like, that's the thing with these prisoners. A lot of people don't realize people go to jail and they get out and they just make a life for themselves. Because it's hard for you to do that sometimes to actually get a job in like get a corporate job. You can't even do that because you got that criminal record. So for him to get out and do this, like, big ups to him. Next we meet Relly B. Relly B is where the money resides. I never knew what his name was before this moment. He's 24. I don't know if I believe that he's 24. He don't look like he's 24. He look like he is at least about 30. Because I'm 26, so I don't know. But he's 24. That's where we know him from. We then meet William. He's the other white dude. He's 28 from LA. He claims he is pretty and paid. That is self-proclaimed. And he's a rapper out there in LA. He seems like he's going to be bringing some drama too. And lastly, we meet Gutta K. Gutta K is 21 from Flint, Michigan. The Michigan people, you got to watch out for the Michigan people because the Michigan people, they throw down. They throw down. That Gutta shit tattoo he got right here is quite interesting to me too. And he's talking about how he beat up a couple big motherfuckers, big bitches. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring. I think he's going to be quite entertaining as well. So far the cast is good. That's the first part that I've watched right now. We're about to get back into it, so let's go. Man, these lights is hot. I got some new lights, by the way, if you can't tell. I went and invested in these two little lights to make this YouTube a little bit better. But, so we get the first scene. They're in a desert and it looks like they're doing like the video shoot that they did for the intro. And we get Milan and Andrew. Andrew, I don't think they showed him. At least if they showed him, I didn't get it. But Andrew's the big dude, the big light-skinned dude that's talking all the shit in the trailer. So him and Milan are basically beefing the whole time. They just sitting there talking to each other, talking shit, going back and forth. Milan saying that Andrew was in his DMs trying to get with him. And Andrew's going back and forth with him as Milan is telling him, like, you just tried to get with me, you and my DMs, yada, yada, yada. And Andrew's saying up and down, I would never want to get with you. Your sex tape was nasty. You dirty. You nasty. Just talking shit back and forth. They just going back and forth. And Curtis and Kerrion, both of them are looking like, we just literally got here. Like, why are y'all beefing already? So clearly, like me, I'm sitting here like, I guess they have a history. And that's just something that they didn't see coming. And it's something that I didn't see coming either. But I mean, it's a small world out here, and I guess they, like I said, I feel like they've got these people on the show now, at least the gay dudes. For me, I feel like the gay dudes are just people that are known in that community, and I feel like the straight dudes aren't necessarily as known in the community, so I feel like they just pull these people off of social media, and they already had history, so it's all gonna blow up here on this show. So they beefing and whatnot, and then they end up moving to the photo shoot, which is like inside a studio. So all the gay boys are still out there going back and forth with each other. They up on the cameras talking their shit and saying how they gonna fight so-and-so and so-and-so. But the main culprit that they all really coming for is Andrew. Because Andrew is still talking his shit. Like, he's antagonizing a lot of them, which is funny to me because I can tell he's gonna be kind of like, shit, who can I really compare him to? He's gonna be like a Natalie, truthfully. Like, he knows that he can get under these people's skin. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to play it to his advantage. And they are sitting there saying that shit. And Kerrion is thinking that Andrew is doing all of this because he wants to kind of see how each person is going to react to him talking shit. AKA just kind of fill everybody out and see who you can really try it with. And so far, I mean, everybody else is just talking shit. And Gutta K, is it Andrew? I keep wanting to say Anthony because it's an Anthony and an Andrew. I think it's Andrew that I'm talking about. Andrew starts with Gutta K. Gutta K telling him, I beat big bitches and yada yada yada. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna drag you, yada yada yada. And Andrew's sitting there talking shit back and forth with him. And Gutta K is basically saying, like, he got the right one because I'm gonna get him. And it's funny too because as they're doing this, two white boys are kind of like ganging up on Andrew at this point. And it's basically saying they're going to beat him up. He's fat. And he was saying some racist shit. One of the white boys, I can't remember what his name is because I removed the notes that I had so I can make room for the other ones. It's the other one that's not a rapper. The one that claims that he was about that action. He's sitting there saying, like, Andrew said some racist shit. And where he from, you get your ass beat for saying racist shit. And I'm talking about, like, what kind of racist shit did he say? Because you white. So I don't know what necessarily could be racist coming from him to you. But that is what it is. But Anthony from Houston, he is basically instigating the fight because he's telling Andrew, go beat him up, go beat him up. Talking about the white boys, go beat him up, go beat him up. Because if you don't, then I will. And Andrew gets up and is saying he wants to go whoop on Will, so we're gonna see what happens. So then we get back to basically them shooting. So they start doing the photo shoot. They really only show Andrew dancing while he's getting his pictures taken, and everybody's getting riled up, and they put a little disclaimer on the screen saying that as the photo shoot went on, things got more intense, and Andrew got basically removed outside. So he's outside, and you got Milan running around talking about he want to fight him. And he then, I guess he gets Relly B, aka where the money resides, and they get outside and they trying to go jump him. Apparently Andrew is somewhere somewhere not where they were, and security is sitting there talking to the other ones in there, basically saying like, ain't nobody gonna jump on him. Like, nobody's jumping him, which I appreciate. I'm glad they don't want to have nobody jumping him. And that's the thing, if all of them got issues with him, just take a number and say, okay, well, I want to get mine in on you, just pull a number, and then I get you when I want to get you. And that is if Andrew wants to fight. Like me, when it comes to people that fight, I feel like if you're going to run your mouth, you should be able to fight. But if you don't want to fight, I feel like you don't necessarily need to be putting your hands on them. Put it that way. I don't know if Andrew really wants to fight, but I guess that's what we're about to find out. Alright, so we get to Natalie. Of course, Natalie. I was expecting it. I'm like, Natalie is not going to go the entire episode without showing her face. So Natalie gets on the screen and she's sitting there talking with the producers, saying she don't know what to expect, yada yada yada. She's a bad girl, she still running the city, yada yada yada. She ain't scared of no bad boys, doing Natalie as Natalie does. But then we get in the other scene, the boys, they all are, this is the next day, they're all getting on the little Sprinter bus, and they all wondering where Andrew is. Andrew's the only dude that's not there. So they all trying to pretty much figure out where he at, as is Natalie and the producers. They're basically trying to figure out where he at, because he's not on the bus. He hadn't talked to any of them. He hadn't really contacted any of them, so they don't know where he's at and if he's even going to come. Now, on the bus, all the dudes on there are basically establishing who is gay and who is straight, which is what we were all expecting. That is very important, too, just for boundaries, too. And Moolah and Curtis are the only two straight ones, at least the only two vocalized super straight ones. Kerrion, which is Kirk Franklin's son, the rest of the dudes are basically pressing him about his sexuality, asking him what he is, and yada yada yada. And he's basically like, he's saying it's out there, it's open. He ain't say too much about what it is. And they pressing him, saying like, do you like girls, do you like dudes, yada yada yada. And he's just basically like, he ain't putting no title on it, put it that way. He just ain't putting no title on it and getting the heat off of him. So basically then they're all just sitting there talking and whatnot. And Moolah and Curtis are basically saying like, he ain't got no problem with the dudes that are gay. The gay dudes are basically sitting there asking each other like, if one of the straight dudes were actually gay, who would they go for and whatnot. And they basically prefacing to the straight dudes, this is just a compliment, take it as a compliment. We're not going to try this stuff with you because we already know what you really about. And they all saying Moolah and whatnot, and Moolah's like, look, I ain't got no problems with y'all doing what you're doing. But he's taking that like, okay, well, I don't want anybody trying to press me, because like if they all want me, or at least would want to want me, if I would actually go that way, I don't want them pressing on me or hitting on me, because if you hit on me, then I'm going to hit on you this way. So basically like, I'm going to hit you if you come at me sexually. But he said he respects them, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's basically what he's saying, like, and that's just kind of how I am in general too. Like, I have no problem with anybody that, I don't care about people's sexuality. You are who you are, you like what you like. Just respect me in that aspect, and I'll respect you. So then we get the two white boys. Two white boys are sitting there arguing. What I noticed about Dylan is that he seemed, out of everybody on the bus, he's the one that seemed kind of like timid at first. Like they was giving him questions and whatnot, and he seemed like he was kind of shy, like at least not shy, but just like he wasn't giving that same energy that he had in them confessionals. So I'm like, okay, you might be the one that's really putting on. But he started then to press Will, saying that he heard that he was talking shit and yada yada yada, and they start arguing and whatnot, trying to get hype and rah-rah with each other. So we'll see what happens out of there. Okay, so they get to the house, and Dylan asks Will, while they're getting off the bus, if he wants to fight. So they all, like all the dudes are sitting there attempting to get, well basically trying to get Dylan to swing on Will. Because he asked him if he wants to fight. I've been in a couple fights in my lifetime. And I'm thinking right now, none of the fights that I've been in, I never swung first. I knew it was happening, but I'm the type, I don't swing first. I just wait for you to swing first, and then I just black out, and then I go to work. So if I'm gonna press you, and I'm gonna ask you if you want to fight, well, first of all, I wouldn't even ask you if I wanted to fight. If I wanted to fight you, like if I'm the aggressor, I'm going to swing. I'm not even gonna ask if you want to fight. I'm just gonna swing. So he asked him if he wants to fight, and they basically are trying to get Dylan to swing on him. And that's why I'm saying what I initially just said a couple minutes ago. I feel like Dylan he's a follower. Like he's putting on too much for this camera. And it is later shown because they start swinging on each other on the bus and nothing is landing. They pull Dylan off the bus and he's sitting there saying that Will got fucked up and yada yada yada. And you got fucked up. That's what happened, bitch. Da 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 da. And I think Relly was the one that said it, like, none of y'all's hits, none of y'all swings even landed, so nobody got fucked up. And I'm like, exactly. So then they all get off the bus, and they all standing around in front of the house with security and whatnot, and they basically about to try and fight again. And Dylan, like, Will's claiming that he's not a fighter. So Will's like, I'm not a fighter, I'm a bad boy in another way, which you can be. And he's owning that he's not a fighter, but it looks like he's the type that's just not going back down regardless if he know how to fight or not. So I respect that. But Dylan, you the aggressor, and he's sitting there looking like deer in headlights. He looks so scared, and you just sitting there looking at him, and he has not swung yet. He's standing there like this, not even posted up, nothing. Just standing there, and everybody's looking like, what the fuck you gonna do? What the fuck you gonna do? Especially the straight dudes. The straight dudes, those would be my boys if I was in the house. Like, I'd be with Curtis and I would be with Moolah the whole time. Like, the way they're acting in this whole situation, in this whole scene, is exactly how I would be acting. They're like, these niggas ain't gonna do nothing. Like, they just standing here talking all this shit. So then they finally decide to swing, and both of them didn't put they set up nothing, just sitting there just... And I'm just laughing like they are literally 2 and 3 inches away from each other and not hitting nothing. But the crazy thing is, after they break whatever they're trying to do up, homeboy Dylan, the aggressor, is the one with marks on his face. He got a nice little scratch right here, blood, everything. So I'm like, what happened there? Because I didn't see nobody hitting nobody. Maybe it was some nails or whatnot. But that's what happened, and he's sitting there looking all scary and shit. So then Relly B, where money resides, takes it upon himself to run up on Dylan, which I respected it. Like, he ran up on him after the fact. But I don't even think he even did that, because he don't even like he can fight either. So, but maybe actually, I think Relly was the one that put the damage on his face. I don't know if it was from Will, because yeah, after that, that's when it was really, yeah. So it was Relly was the one that pretty much put the scar on his face. But like I said, he ain't land much either. So far, these 3 are the 3 so far that have fought, and none of them can fight. But then Milan gets mad and saying is that Relly is a bully and whatnot, which I don't agree. Like, this dude, Dylan, is the aggressor. Like, he was the one pressing homeboy the whole time, and you just mad because these dudes ran up on you and you the one that ended up with scars? Like, you can't sit here and try to play Captain Saberho for somebody that literally has been asking for somebody to fight him. So that's literally what happened. So they both ran up on him and whatnot. So like I said, Dylan's face is cut. Natalie comes outside because they were at the house. Natalie was at the house the whole time. I guess they were just waiting on them to get there. Natalie comes out trying to figure out what's going on, why everybody's fighting and whatnot. Milan is claiming that, well, not even Milan, but Dylan is claiming he got jumped. And that's how you know this dude don't know how to fight. That is not jumping. You got 2 one-on-ones. Because you got your one-on-one with Will and you got your one-on-one with Relly. And Relly, you just didn't see him coming. But that was not getting jumped. You got bum rushed. But they all claiming that he got jumped and claiming that Relly jumped him and yeah. And I'm like, that's bullshit because he didn't jump him. Like, jumping somebody is when multiple people are jumping on somebody and swinging on somebody at one time. Like, one person is getting hit from 3 or 4 different people. That's jumping. One-on-ones is not jumping. You getting bum rushed by 2 people in 2 different occasions, that's not jumping. Let's get that straight. But then it's funny too because everybody's now mad at Relly, and now Relly is like, what you want me to do? Now go fight him now since y'all claiming that I jumped him? So that's exactly what he does, is goes over there and attempts, and I'm saying attempts because they start swinging again and nothing's landing. Relly and Will are fighting. So that happens. Relly then comes up with scratches on him and whatnot, which I don't understand how that happened either because like I said, from what I could see, nothing was landing. But Natalie is pissed off, and this is funny. I wrote this down because it was a very valid point. She's pissed off at Relly B and saying like, y'all out here fighting for no reason and you just doing all this stupid shit and we just got here, yada, yada, yada. He gets in his confessional and says, how are you mad at me for doing the same shit that you do? And I was like, clocked. Like, he clocked Natalie. Like, that is the truth. Natalie is known for, well, I ain't gonna say she's known for doing that, but here recently, in the past 3 or 4 years, Natalie has made beefs and dramas out of nothing. When she was first on the show, yeah, she was instigating shit, but it made sense and it seemed natural. But here recently, as a grown woman, Natalie is on here starting beef out of thin air and starting fights and whatnot. And he basically put up a very good point. Like, how you gonna get mad at me for doing the same shit? But they end up putting him in the bus to calm him down, so we're gonna see what's happening. Alright, so then we get another scene. In this scene, Anthony and Milan are basically talking to Relly in the bus, basically asking why he jumped in the fight because it looked like bullying and yada, yada, yada. And I appreciate Anthony for clarifying that he did not jump him. He said you did not jump him, but it did look like bullying, which I guess I can respect that part. But Milan was basically saying the same thing. Like, you ain't got no beef with him. You ain't got no beef with either one of them, so why you fighting him? Which is a valid point too, but he's there to make TV. Relly is there to make TV like the rest of them are, which we all know. He basically is doing what he's seen on TV. So basically they get the producers in the next scene, they get the boys all together so Natalie can come out there and bark at them. So, and that's what she does. She gets out there and she goes off on him and she sees Relly sitting in the car smiling and whatnot. And she's telling him not to smile like she's his mother and he's her child and yada, yada, yada. And he's sitting there like, and he said another very valid point. He's in his confessional. He says, Natalie, you are iconic for acting an ass. You think I'm gonna come on here and be on Bad Boys braiding some hair? Like, he said he finna act an ass too. Like, which is valid. It's like, cause Natalie's sitting out there telling him to start acting classy and whatnot. And it's just like, Natalie, y'all was not acting classy on Bad Girls Club. And like he said, this is your version of Bad Girls Club for these bad boys. So you can't get mad at them when they get on here and start fighting for random shit. Like, that's literally what y'all did. That's what y'all did on Bad Girls Club and are still doing on baddies in your late mid-30s. Like, make it make sense. But she basically said to them, like, this ain't her show, this is their show, so act like they actually want it and they want to be here and do something. They got so much going on, they got so much planned, yada, yada, yada. We'll see how much of what they got planned is actual and factual, because they claim they had so much planned for Baddies ATL, and we all saw what happened there. But they basically saying Andrew is scared of getting jumped. They calling him a pussy and yada, yada, yada. But they basically trying to see if they can get him back. If they don't, they say fuck him and whatever. So they all run in the house and go get the rooms like they do on Bad Girls Club. And we about to end this episode. I'm about to see, I don't know if I'm going to watch the trailer. I might watch the trailer for the next episode. But I'm scared of getting copyrighted, but we'll see. Okay, so they in the house. The house is big, just like every other house that they've had on Zeus. It's a big house, but it's got little to no furniture in the house, which is funny to me. So Relly basically tells the white boys that he's done fighting them. The white boys just basically saying they don't want to fight no more. They ain't here to fight, yada, 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 which is funny. Will, I can say that he's being truthful, but Dylan, you just got your card pulled because you was in that confessional at the beginning of the episode talking about you really about that action. But now you don't want to fight. Like, that's my whole point. I called that shit at the beginning. He ain't really about what he's talking about. But we get Moolah. Moolah runs up to the room. That's exactly what I would have done. He ran up to his room, got on that bed, and was like, leave me the fuck alone. I ain't trying to be around y'all. Because basically they're just doing a lot. They're just doing too much. He basically tells Gutta, Anthony, and Curtis is in the room too, that he don't want nobody in that room but Curtis. And the two, because it's Anthony and Gutta and those two are gay, and then it's him and Curtis that are straight. So they immediately take offense to that and is basically sitting there trying to call him out and basically say like, that's offensive, yada, yada, yada. You in a house full of gay dudes, like you can't expect us to not be here, yada, yada, yada. And I feel like maybe they took that in the wrong way. I took it as him just basically like, Curtis is his dude in the house. And Curtis, out of everybody in that house, those two, Moolah and Curtis, were the only two that were not doing too much. And then I'll put Kurt Franklin's son in the combination too, because he wasn't doing too much either. And Anthony really wasn't doing too much either, honestly, to think about it. But Curtis is clearly Moolah's boy in the house. So obviously he don't want nobody in there but him, because I mean that dude is like-minded like him. That's just normal. But they took offense to that, so I mean it is what it is. So then the white boys, they end up getting a room together, which is funny because they just had their little beef moment. But neither one of them are really about that action. Like I said, they just really out here just trying to put on for the cameras. And that's literally what they were doing. In the next room, we get Anthony. And this was funny because Anthony gets in the room with one of the lady producers and he immediately jumps on that damn bed. And what do you think happens? The bed breaks. Like, it's just proof, like, this shit is cheap. They have a very big mansion, but the furniture's cheap. They barely got any furniture in there, obviously, because they ain't trying to be in there long. They only gonna be filming for like 4 weeks probably. And they didn't want to put no furniture in there. So the bed broke. And basically, in the next room, we get Kerrion and Milan. Not Kerrion and Milan. Kerrion and Gutta. And they basically go in this last room, and I guess it's the last room that hasn't been taken. And it's only got one bed in there. Kerrion's like, nah, go on downstairs, Gutta. And Gutta's like, nah, I need this room because it's in the cut. I'm trying to be away from everything else. Which would be me too, truthfully, because I would want to be in the cut too. I don't want to be near nobody with all that drama and shit. But Gutta is basically pressing up on Kerrion, and it looked like he's trying to flirt with him and yada, yada, yada. Then we get the next scene. Milan is basically in the room with Anthony and sees that Anthony is in the room that Milan claims that he called. So he's pissed off about that, and they basically start trying to scrap. Both of them is just like pushing each other, and no real hands have been thrown yet. So that's five, I want to say 5 dudes now that have fought, and none of them like they can fight. None of them. So that happens, and then Natalie ends up getting the boys downstairs, all of them. So they're basically watching production talk to Andrew, who is basically trying to be talked to into staying in the house. And he's basically sitting there telling them, like, why should I want to stay, yada, yada, yada. Basically making them trying to basically beg him to stay. And I found something funny, too, because one of the producers was like, you tried to cash a check today. And you went to the bank. And it's funny, too, because it's like, he took that check. I don't know if they all got paid that day, but apparently he took a Zeus check and tried to cash that bitch. And I guess that's how they tracked him down. But I don't know. But then as they're watching that, Milan then brings up Relly fighting with Will again, throws a drink on him, and then they start fighting. And that was the end of that episode. Next episode looks like we got a lot of drama. It looks like Moolah and Kerrion get into a fight. And then we got the aftermath of Milan and Relly fight. And so we got some fights coming. And it looks like that's a lot of the fights that were in the trailer. So I'm trying to see, do we have any more coming that haven't been in the trailer? But I don't know. We'll see. But that is the first episode. Pretty action-packed. So far, it seems pretty decent. So I'm going to be here. So I'll be watching and I'll be reviewing. So if y'all watching, drop a comment. Let me know what y'all thought about the first episode, who your favorites are. I'll give you my favorites. My top, I guess I'll give a top 3. My top 3, Moolah, Curtis, and Anthony. I like Anthony. Anthony seems cool. He seems funny. I don't feel like he's putting on for the cameras. I feel like this is who he is naturally. That's my top 3. Tell me who y'all's favorites are in the comments, what y'all are looking forward to. Thumbs up the video, like I said. If you haven't done that already, and subscribe, please do that if you have not already. We got like 20 subscribers last week alone. Let's keep running that up. I'm trying to get to 1,000 eventually. But yeah, I'll be back, so I'll talk to y'all soon. Follow my socials. That is in the info box. If you want to continue the conversation, hit me there or hit me in the comments. I'll talk to y'all next week.